What's up, everybody? Welcome to Spearheaded with Tevin. I'm your host, Tevin. We've got so much to jump into, from documentary to conservatorship. But before we do all that, I want to talk about what happened on this day 3 years ago. It's October 1st today. Britney Spears announced Domination, the follow-up residency from Piece of Me. If you watched it in real time, it was a hot mess, and now we know why. And it's started to be kind of the catalyst as to what happened in the news this week, which is Jamie Spears being suspended as Britney's conservator after 13 years. We've got so much to talk about, from documentaries to conservatorships. And with me today are my friends Cody and Brady. How are you guys doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good.
I'm doing so good. Thank you guys so much for coming on this podcast. First off, congratulations on getting married last month.
Thank you.
I've been following your relationship on Twitter, and I think it's so great that you guys met because of Britney, and she's really the one that you got brought you guys together. And you guys actually, did you guys get married at the Little White Wedding Chapel?
Yeah, our 1 month anniversary is today.
Mm-hmm.
And we got married at
congratulations.
Thank you. We got married at the Little White Wedding Chapel, right where Britney did.
That's awesome. And how long have you guys been together?
5.5 years.
Yeah.
6 years.
March 2015. Since March 2015. So yes,
That's crazy.
That's more than
6 years.
Yeah, 6
Yeah,
years.
6.5 years.
Yep.
And you guys met at Piece of Me, right? At the residency. That is so awesome.
We knew each other online beforehand, and growing up in Idaho, there's no other gay people around here. So finding someone on Stan Twitter that loves Britney as much as I do was so cool. So in 2014, we decided to go to Piece of Me together, and just as friends. And after we met at Piece of Me the first time, we just had so much fun together that we just texted every day, and we were just friends. And then in 2015, for his 21st birthday, is when we started dating after that.
We have so much to talk about. Big week in Britney land. This is the start of the end of the conservatorship. How are you guys feeling about everything?
I'm just really happy for Britney right now. I just feel like finally she's been heard, and finally there's someone in her corner that's really fighting for her. Someone that can actually do something. Because the fans have always been in her corner, but there's not a lot that, just one person in the fan base can do. And now that she has her lawyer, there's actually someone fighting for her, which I'm just so grateful for.
The fans pushed the movement, but really it was also her and her courage that is the reason she's where she's at right now, for speaking up. So we're just really proud of her.
It's been really a long time coming. And I think that the FX documentary at the beginning of the year that came out was kind of the catalyst that really brought, the attention to this conservatorship for the general public. And I feel like that was a huge push in getting this conservatorship to end in the way that it did. So I'm so happy that things are turning out the way that they have, and that Jamie is getting out of this conservatorship finally. What are your guys' thoughts on Matthew Rosengarten and the way that he's handled this case?
I think he's done an amazing job so far. I love that she got a federal prosecutor. I think that's pretty badass, honestly. To get someone who's had that much experience, and especially at a level like that, this guy is not messing around. He's only been with Britney since the beginning of July, right? And so to make this much progress in such a short amount of time is amazing.
And especially in a situation like this, where it's not just about her getting out of the conservatorship, it's also about justice. It's about, people getting payback for what they put her through for 13 years. I think he's the perfect person for that, to go through everything. So we're excited for her.
He's really kind of a shark, and he was Madonna's lawyer for a number of years, and he's really kind of made a name for himself in being such a powerhouse, especially as a lawyer and just former prosecutor. So he's a shark 100%. Back when Britney was going into rehearsals for Domination and she ultimately canceled the residency, what were your thoughts about all of that happened. When she put out the Instagram statement that she was stopping the show because of her father's health, which we went on to realize it wasn't the exact truth. Did you guys sense that something was off when she posted to Instagram that day?
I just remember all of it. And I remember Cody, we were laying in bed and she posted the Instagram. And Cody said that it was canceled. And like, you're joking. Like, you're just trying to pull a fast one on me. And he was like, no, like, read this. And I just remember that we thought something was off by it, but it's almost like we didn't want to say that something was off by it. You know, I think that we just wanted to believe that everything was okay.
I'll be honest. I mean, I kind of did believe it. I mean, I'm not going to be one of those people that was like, oh, I knew from the very beginning something was wrong. I mean, it was weird that the whole entire show was canceled. I knew that kind of was odd to us, that they would cancel an entire or delay an entire show because of her dad's health. It kind of seems like, and it's not like he died or anything. So it was just a very weird excuse. But I definitely didn't think that it was anything like this going on. So
yeah, I've never seen Britney live. Like, I'm one of her biggest fans, and I've never
You
seen
haven't?
her. I know, right? Isn't that so surprising? No, my parents would never let me see her when I was younger. And then as I got older, I just was like, yeah, I was in school and I just never made the time to go see her in Vegas. So
I
crazy.
took off so much school to go see Britney.
Know.
Like, it was bad. Like, my grades definitely suffered, but...
No, but so I bought tickets to Domination. That was going to be my first time ever seeing her. I planned a whole Vegas trip around it. It was going to be like for my birthday, and I was so excited. And I remember being at work that day and seeing the Instagram post that she canceled the residency, and it was tears. Like, I cried in the office.
I can't even imagine.
It was so bad. It was like all of my hopes and dreams just like toppled on me that day. It was awful. But I remember also a couple weeks before her making that Instagram post, seeing the Domination announcement and thinking like how bizarre it was. Wasn't she supposed to perform at that?
I mean, I think it's been like rumored, but I don't know if we've ever gotten confirmation that she was supposed to. But just the weirdest thing that I remember is obviously one, like her not talking at it. I thought that was kind of odd. But two, and this is what I remember the most from that night, is when someone held out a vinyl, and I think it was the Baby One More Time vinyl, and she was going to sign it, and someone moved her away, and it just seemed like they didn't want her really talking, seeing anyone, just rising from the platform and having a cute picture taken of her, and then just ushering her away.
And she didn't have much of a time it didn't look like she was going to speak anyway. But when she did the Vegas announcement before, like for the 2013 Piece of Me show, I think she talked briefly at it, but she didn't say much there either.
They had that big Good Morning America announcement. And I remember her, that was kind of a mess too, because I remember her in the helicopter and getting sick in the helicopter. And then there was that GIF that was going everywhere on Twitter of that one newscaster who was there. And I think she was kind of looking around. She was like, was that it? Like, do you remember that? The blonde lady where she was kind of looking around like confused and she's like, oh, okay, like, I guess that's it. But yeah, this one was definitely, it was a mess. The Domination announcement was a mess. And you can tell that she did not really want to be there.
Not at all. And, going from this point where we are now with the conservatorship ending, and it's looking like she's going to be free by the end of the year, by her 40th birthday, actually. Do you guys think that she's going to return to music? Do you guys think that she's going to try and go at this again? Or do you think that she's going to take a step back and take a break?
We've talked about this a lot of, what we wonder what it'll look like when she's actually the one calling all the shots. I don't know. I mean, part of me, I think it's 50-50. Part of me thinks that she's going to want to quickly start a family with Sam, and as she should, if that's what she wants to do. She's the one calling the shots now. But part of me also wonders if she might, now that she might put that on hold slightly, because she might possibly want to. You have to remember, she's now been on hiatus now for going on 4 years.
Going on 4 years.
So there's a chance that maybe she's wants to release something or wants to do something. And so obviously we would support any decision she makes. But I'll be honest, as a fan, I would love for her to have a big comeback next year or do something big. But, like I
And
said,
it's so hard to like comment on it because like obviously with us being such big fans, obviously I want another album and I would love to see her live again, but I just want whatever Britney does next. I want it to be exactly what she wants. I don't want anyone coercing her into doing something that she doesn't want to do, into performing something that she doesn't want to perform. So, and I believe that when she's free from this, that it will be her calling the shots and actually doing what she wants to do. I just hope that whatever she does next, it's really what she wants to do, and I'll support.
Because of all the major media attention and publicity, the Free Britney movement, like, all the documentaries, there's obviously, she's still signed to a record label. And so they're going to want to capitalize off of that. So I really hope that even though there's no way to force her to do it, I think that I'd be nervous that they would try to, tempt her by saying, well, this tour would make a ton of money if you go and do this right now because of all the heightened publicity of the Free Britney movement. And she might be swayed into it that way. I just hope that whenever she's ready to actually tour or release music or do whatever she wants to do, that it's fully 100% her decision and not motivated by any external factors.
Yeah, Cody, I think that was like really well said because I totally echo that 110%. I want this next phase of her life to be completely everything that she wants to do. And she's been so deprived of just like making basic decisions pretty much like her entire professional career, I would even say, just because before the conservatorship, it was still very in control. So I would love for her to really kind of lean into this new freedom and whatever she wants to do, like, I'm so down. I think that it's weird to think that we've gone this long without anything new or creative from her because I think she always kind of kept us in the loop with everything that she did creatively. So yeah, I think that this next phase for her, whatever she wants, like she deserves.
Well,
she more than deserves it.
And we got to see a little bit, from Blackout and a lot of the unreleased songs from that era. We got to kind of see and like what could have been Original Doll and then went to Blackout, whatever. But I think we saw like what she really wanted to do, what she really wanted to say. And so in the future, if she does come back, I'm really hoping that we get more of that because, obviously all the fans love Rebellion and I love Rebellion as well. But there's also other songs like To Love, Let Go. And
was that recorded for Original Doll?
I don't know if anyone really knows 100% what it was supposed to be for, but I know it's during that time frame. But there's just so much unreleased music from that time that is just, it's so good. And it's just so like exactly what Britney wanted to say. And I love that.
I would actually love for, I would love for Original Doll to actually be released all these years later with her stamp of approval, obviously, because there's a huge story to even be told with Original Doll. I mean, that was the first album that she was really doing on her own without participation really from her. They weren't approving any of it. She was kind of just doing her own thing as an artist.
Yeah, she snuck off to Kiss FM to play.
Yeah, exactly. And
yeah.
so that was her, trying to reap the benefits of all the success that she had amassed by that point and really just show what she wanted to do. Now that she's not going to be guarded in interviews anymore, screened with questions and stuff, I really hope someone eventually asks her about that album because I'm very curious to know what Britney now thinks about it or if she even thinks about it at all. Like it could be, it was 15 years ago or 16 years ago now. Like she could be just fully moved on from that and like, yeah, that was a project I worked on and I have nothing to say about it anymore. But I would love to hear what she has to say about that record.
The way that album was so secretly made and then kind of like wiped from existence until it reappeared on the internet. Does it also, because to me it feels like she may have been silenced in that whole debacle. Do you guys feel like that is another version of her being silenced by them preventing her from putting that work out?
Yeah,
100%. Absolutely. She like, if you look at the lyrics of the songs that she was putting out there, it was very much her talking about the people around her who... Be careful of, the people you let in and things like that. It was a theme that they weren't comfortable with because, they knew it was true and they didn't want to be exposed for it.
I have literally sat and thought about this so many times over just from, pre-conservatorship. There was still a wave of people around her who were very committed to controlling the narrative when it comes to her career, her music, what she can and can't say. So it almost leads me to believe that even before the conservatorship, there was still so much control in her life and the things that she was allowed to do. So that's another thing that I'm really interested to see in this next phase of her life is the complete freedom, that, everything that comes with that. Let's move into the documentaries because those all came out. I've watched all of them at this point. Have you guys seen all the documentaries?
Oh, yeah.
I've seen all of them except for the CNN one.
Yeah, we didn't watch
Okay.
the CNN one.
Okay, let me backwalk that. I've seen all of them except the CNN one.
Okay, great.
also.
So we don't have to discuss it. I heard something.
We don't have to talk about that one. But so what did you guys think of the Netflix documentary?
We have different opinions, so I'll let him go first.
I am very happy that Netflix brought attention to it because Netflix is obviously like the biggest streaming platform for movies and TV shows that there is. The first half of the documentary, maybe the first, little bit before the first half, I just feel like it focused too much on 2007 and the trouble that she was going through. And I get that you need to preface and, you need to let the audience, because there are people who are watching this for the first time that really don't know a lot about Britney's life. And I mean, the crazy thing is that there's people who are watching that documentary now that probably weren't even born in 2007 when all this was going on. So, they're actually seeing what she went through. And, I like that they focused on like how aggressive the paparazzi were with her, because obviously that led to a lot of things that happened. But again, I just feel like it focused too much on some of 2007. And I also don't like that Sam Lutfi was in it. I mean, and it didn't make him look good, which I'm happy about. But at the same time, I just don't like giving him that kind of platform. But the rest of it, I mean, I appreciated the rest of it. And the ending was really, really powerful.
It was. The ending was great.
The ending definitely made me cry.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and that's a good thing because that's what people are going to be left with.
And so did the intro. The intro was really good. It showed her walking up the stairs and turning around and smiling. That's an iconic gif that everyone knows about.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, that's basically how I feel about it. The first half, I just was not crazy about. The second half, it redeemed itself a little bit and it ended really strong.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion on it is a little bit different. I did enjoy it. I thought it was good. I agree with Brady with Sam Lutfi. I mean, unfortunately, we don't know exactly how Britney feels about Sam because we have yet to see her actually say with her own words that, he did some of the things that he's been accused of by her team. Obviously, her team's word has kind of been shot to shit ever since, now that we know everything we know about her team. So it does make me wary about what they accuse Sam of. But at the same time, Sam Lutfi, it's not just with Britney. He has kind of a pattern of going after vulnerable women in the entertainment industry. He was trying to get close to Miley Cyrus around 2013, even though she really wasn't like having any sort of breakdown. She was just doing her thing. I think he perceived her as having one and wanted to insert himself in her life. He tried to get involved. Didn't he try to get involved with Courtney Love? Or was it
Lindsay Lohan?
I don't know. It was someone.
There was someone else.
I think it was both actually.
Okay, so that's my point, is that he's very much, to me, comes across as a leech. So I don't know him, though. I don't know that for a fact, so who knows? But that's just my impression of him.
There's so much from 2007 that's still shrouded in so much mystery.
And like Brady said about the Netflix documentary, some people are upset that Sam was included, but it also kind of it did show both angles because it did interview Sam and it gave him that platform, but then it also interviewed that woman who said, I believe that Sam was drugging Britney. And the interviewer asked, are you 100% sure that was going on or something like that? And she said, yes, I believe that. So it kind of showed both sides of it. So if it does come out later, like if Britney does in the future does like a tell-all interview and she does say like, hey, yeah, Sam Lutfi was a bad guy, I think the documentary will still age well because it didn't necessarily say he was good.
I know that the Netflix director mentioned, she was like, being a journalist, like I want to play both sides and I want people to get both stories. So after hearing her say that, it made me understand why Sam was in it a little bit more. But again, still not over the moon that he was in it.
What I did, I thought it was very interesting to hear from Adnan, because I mean, at least I've never heard from him before speak out about that time. And it kind of does sound like the part I really liked whenever he said, he was talking about, he's like, there was the multimillionaire and then there was me. There was the pop star and then there was me. It was kind of showing the contrast of how he felt almost uncomfortable in that relationship, but she was really leaning on him during that time. And the video footage is undeniable. She was whispering in paparazzi's ear, where is Adnan? I feel safe around him, things like that. So I do think that I'm kind of glad that they included him, because clearly, whether he was overall a trustworthy person or not, it's evident that during that time she trusted him. So yeah. It was nice to hear from him.
I watched the Netflix documentary and I wasn't a huge fan of it, honestly. I thought that it was like, it focused way too heavily on 2007. There's so much that the general public does not know. And so I feel like if people do watch it, hopefully they get kind of a new worldview on what that time was like in her life. But I personally feel like it didn't add anything to the story. It was just more of like a retelling. And then you throw in the Sam Lutfi stuff. I am not a big fan of Sam. I've always kind of found him to be like really gross and icky, and he has preyed on so many starlets in this industry. Not to mention also that like he testified in 2012, I believe, and said that Britney was using meth, and he is, he spent those years after, kind of telling these stories and these lies about her, and now he's kind of on this redemption tour where he's softening his tone a little bit. And I also kind of cringe at the fact that there are many fans who are giving him like a second chance and who are like...
Does everyone also remember whenever he crashed a Piece of Me show back in, it was 2014 or 2015, but he had an active restraining order against him and he showed up to one of the Piece of Me shows and
2014, I believe. Yeah.
He was escorted out. I don't know if anyone remembers that, but I remember it.
And it's just, I feel like there's not a lot of fans, honestly, that are on his side, but I think what's happening is these fans are so against Britney's team, and as they should be, but they're so against Britney's team and Britney's father that they see someone who was close to Britney at some point, and Sam is so against Team Britney that they're just, oh yeah, this guy is against Team Britney, like we can trust him. And it's like, he can be against Team Britney, but also still not be a good guy.
Right.
And that's how I feel about the whole situation. Like, great that you're against her team, but I still don't trust you.
Right. So both of these things can be true. He can be a bad guy and, her team can still be bad for her. And I think that, these fans who are kind of giving him a second chance may not fully be aware of what that time was actually like. There are a lot of new fans, especially like post Work Bitch, I believe. Like
yeah,
a lot of fans have come on. And so I don't think, they have the clearest idea of like what that time must have been like.
I vividly remember that time, and it's just so crazy because like everyone knew how big of a Britney fan I was. So when any little thing would happen, like I would hear all about it, and I was like, I don't know, 12, 11 at the time, and I was just like, no, she's okay. Like I would defend her, like no matter what she would do. I would get into the biggest arguments with people about Britney. I was like, no, you're not going to talk shit on her, even if she's doing something wrong. She's not. You're the wrong person for this. So it's just crazy to have lived through that time and have to seen everything that happened. And then there's these new fans that, like you said, they started around Work Bitch. And so they obviously know about that history, but they didn't actively live through it.
It was such a traumatic time because I was 12 in 2007 and I constantly remember checking TMZ every single day, scared to death that something was going to happen,
Yep.
And living on the internet, literally living on the internet and like having to defend her against like all of your friends, your parents, like everyone. I swear we could be lawyers at this point. Like
I mean, the Britney Army basically is our lawyers at this point. I mean, the stuff that they have found is like, and how they can put like puzzle pieces together is just like, it's insane. Like everyone and like Britney's Graham, and there's just so many different accounts and people who have just done so much work and have like really fought for Britney. Like it's really cool to see. Like she's so loved, and I love that. And I think that she knows that. And so that makes me really happy that she knows that there are people who will like fight to the death for her. Like, seriously.
110%. I'm, the biggest Britney fan till I die. I used to comment on her Instagram. I would be like, blink twice and I will come to your house and I will rescue you. Like, I was like that committed. Thousand Oaks isn't that far away from us. So I'm like, I will get in my car and I will
whatever
drive
you
to
need,
you.
I'll be there.
Let's talk a little bit about her team, her family, her father, and where we think that is going to go. So we're at the tail end of this conservatorship, but there is still so much mess around this entire thing, especially with like Lou Taylor and Britney's mom. So the first thing I want to ask you guys is, do you think Britney is suing her entire family, like her mother, her father, her sister, her brother, like everyone? Or do you think she's going to be a little bit more selective?
How do we even...
I don't know. I honestly have no clue. I think I perceive Britney as being a very...
Jamie's going down.
Well, yeah, I think
Jamie
is someone that she might, try to get prosecuted to the fullest extent. But everyone else, I kind of feel like Britney may just want to let it go. Or, I don't know. She just strikes me as a really forgiving person as well, especially, when it comes to her family. I think that the sad thing about Britney is that she loves them clearly a lot more than they love her. I mean, they've been perfectly fine taking advantage of her. But I don't think that feeling is mutual. I think she does love them. I just think that they've done her wrong. Kind of back to your question. Yeah, I think Jamie is going down, but I think everyone else will kind of slip under the radar. And that's my opinion.
I also think that everyone else might fly under the radar, especially like Jamie Lynn and Brian, because I don't think that Britney would necessarily want to do anything that would affect them and then in turn affect her nieces and nephews.
Like Maddie and things like that.
Or just nieces.
Yeah, I know that she does love them.
Exactly.
You can tell that she loves Maddie and loves the kid and Brian's daughter.
Yeah. So I think that plays into, that they might, nothing might happen to them, but I can't say, it at the end of the day, it wouldn't surprise me if she did do something because there were so many things that they did wrong to her and they didn't stick up for her. So it's like I'm in the middle right now.
That's a really good perspective because I've heard from virtually everyone. They're like, yeah, she's going to sue everyone in her family. And I've been more on the fence about like if she's going to sue her mother because I have always maintained that they've had somewhat of a relationship even through the rocky times. Like, I think that they were still somewhat speaking to each other. And it's a very Southern thing for women to forgive their mothers, especially if they've like done wrong or something like that. Like, was always on the fence if she was going to sue her mom, but I was pretty like certain that everyone else was going to get served essentially. Is there anyone that you think like other than Jamie and her family who should definitely be, prosecuted? Or this is a hot seat question. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, we know who we want to say, but like Fee said, she would chew me up and spit me out.
Who is Lou Taylor?
I will not touch that one. Sorry. She will chew me up and spit me out.
Not as important as Fee. Like we're not on a New York Times documentary or anything right now, but at the same time, like I am kind of scared to say her name because she has sued fans.
Yeah.
You know who we're talking about.
That's right.
So, yeah. I don't really want to say the name, but I think everyone knows who I'm talking about. So
she who shall not be named.
She who shall not be named.
She shall not be named. And the other ugly one with the.
Oh, I'll say Robin's name. Robin is. She was like the rudest person I have ever met in my life.
Spill. I know. I need tea. Come on.
It was just. I mean,
I don't even think I've ever met her.
I've just seen her. I've seen her at Piece of Me, and if you know, being as big of fans as we are, like if you see anyone that's around Britney, like I said hi to Edon multiple times. He never said hi to me. He said hi to Cody though. But I remember seeing Robin and just saying hi and just like looking at me and not saying a single word. And then we got to know a few of the people who worked at the Britney store in Planet Hollywood and the things that they would say about Robin as well. And they said some really bad stuff about Jamie too, that he would come in and like yell. He yelled at the staff one time, or it was just like little things that, and we went so many times to Piece of Me that we knew the security that worked there. We knew people at the Britney store. We knew all these different people. So we had heard these little things throughout the years that always kind of made us go like,
I mean, it was always too kind of like, it was as disturbing as all of it was that we heard. It was also kind of like, well, I mean, at the end of the day, like, this is their business. Like, this is their, like, the store, it's their storefront. This is their residency. Like, this is their, you know, their family business or whatever. And this is obviously back at the time that we thought Britney was okay with all of it. Just because we hadn't really heard much from her. So it was kind of like, even though it was like, just, it was disappointing to hear those things, we were just like, well, I guess he just means business when it comes to running everything.
He's just a hard ass, or, you know, this or that.
So,
yeah, I've heard from like multiple people who work in this industry and who have worked with Britney several times that like her dad is a complete terror. And then like Robin is also like not the nicest person to work with. So seeing her portrayal, especially in the documentary, like just checked all the boxes. It verified stuff that I already knew.
And I was so surprised that Robin and Edon were mentioned in that, because I really never expected that. You know, I just thought that Edon was Britney's bodyguard and that's what he was doing, just protecting her. But then hearing everything that they did is just that. And that's the thing. I think the Hulu documentaries were so much better than the Netflix one, because I feel like we really learned so much from the Hulu documentaries. And like you said, the Netflix one, we really didn't learn that much that was new. There were a few things, but it wasn't really any bombshells like Hulu.
You know, FX, I think, does such a good job at construing this story with not only just facts and stuff, but they also leaned into the legal aspect, I feel like, a lot better than what they did with Netflix. Like, they really went into it. They went into the depth of it. They got Vivian on there in the first one. Love her. Hey, girl. I felt like it was so much, you know, better constructed all the way around.
It seemed like the Hulu ones had like an actual storyline almost. And Netflix, in my opinion, just kind of went in different directions.
Netflix was very spliced together, I think.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that Hulu is going to work on a third documentary, and hopefully it's called like Freeing Britney Spears. It would round out this like narrative of, you know, documentaries that they have.
I know that she mentioned that they were filming at the court hearing, outside of the court hearing on Wednesday. So she said that they don't know if they're going to do another one, but they have some footage if they do. And I really hope that they do.
They should. I think they should. I think it would be a really good conclusion to the story that's being told.
Kind of curious if Britney herself, they'll want, once she is freed, if they'll be able to get her to be a part of that. That would be really, really cool. So we'll see.
Yeah, we will. I would love for Britney to participate in that. I hope she would do a tell-all interview at some point, maybe with like Oprah or somebody.
Yes,
that's who we would. Yeah, that would be my first pick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on her, you know, good mysterious book that she's working on.
I'll have a good book one day. A good mysterious book.
Hopefully one day that'll come.
Oprah needs to do, though, were you silent or were you silenced? Because it applies. It's perfect.
So moving on from, you know, the talk of the conservatorship and the documentaries, let's talk about Felicia, because she was in the FX documentary. She was in the Netflix documentary, and I just love her. I think she's so great. You guys have met her, right? She knows who you guys are. Is that what I've gathered from Twitter?
I mean, I hope so. That would be really cool. One time whenever he unfortunately wasn't there, so he gets sad
so
whenever
jealous.
I tell this. But were you in the bathroom or something?
No, I had to leave. This was when we were still doing long distance.
Oh, yeah.
And I had an early flight home, and he was waiting, and he was just at Planet Hollywood just waiting for his flight.
Yeah, I was there. It was the day after the show. I was sitting at like some random just slot machine with my friend Phil, and we were just sitting there, and our friend Andrew, and then I felt a tap on my shoulder. And I turned around, and it's Fee standing there with a Ross bag in her hand, and
oh my God.
She started waving at us and standing right there, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, hi!" She's like, I had to come say hi to my boys. And then we just sat and talked for a second. We talked about, Piece of Me. I think I told her, like, can you tell Britney to add Overprotected to the show? And she's like, I will pass that along. I was like, do you think she likes that song? Like, have you heard anything about it? Like, I know I was being annoying. But
I would be annoying too.
though she's so sweet. And she was like, I don't know what she thinks. She's like, I know it's been a minute since she's performed it. So she was like, I'll definitely pass that along to her. So that was just my fun little story of Fee. And then she, we kept it moving. I mean, she went down to Ross to do her exchanges or whatever she
For
had
Britney.
to do. Was it?
She said I remember you telling me that it was for Britney or something, like she was returning something for Britney or something like that. Yeah.
I just know she had a Ross return. So
I would have such an out of body experience going through all of that. So the fact that you were able to form a sentence, great.
We did find out recently, I'm friends with someone who knows her very well. And I asked him, I was like, could you just send her mine and Brady's wedding photos, because we did meet her so many times at Piece of Me. I'm just curious if maybe she remembers and she can see now that we got married. He sent them to her and she did respond with, she said, okay, I got them, but must find glasses to see them. And then she waited, and then a little time had gone by, and he said, did you see them? I just wanted to let Cody know whether or not you saw them. And she responded with, yes, finally got to see them and pull up the screen big and enjoy their happiness in pictures. Thank you so much for sharing this bright spot with me. Magical memories indeed.
Oh my gosh.
So that was
so sweet.
So sweet. And I don't really know if she remembers us. She could just be being nice, but
because she's that kind of she's the sweetest soul in the entire world. At Piece of Me, if there is, and if Britney ever does something again in the future, if you see Felicia, at least say hi, because she is just the absolute sweetest person in the entire world. She'll take pictures with you, she'll talk with you. And I remember meeting her for the first time, and I'm just so starstruck. She's you've been with Britney for so long, and I just love Britney so much, and I love you so much. And she's like, oh, why are you starstruck by me? It's just little Felicia. And I'm just I love you.
The first time I met her was 2011 for this. I had a Femme Fatale tour meet and greet, which is its own little story, but they were expensive, so my parents only got me one. It was my graduation present was meeting Britney Spears. So I went by myself, or I got dropped off to the concert by myself. And I was really the only one there that was alone. Everyone kind of had someone with them. And Fee, beforehand, we were kind of in this room where they had refreshments and food, and there were little booths set up and stuff. And I was sitting there by myself, and Fee came and sat with me. And she's like, I just see you're sitting here by yourself. So if you want some company, and she chatted with me the whole time. So she really is just a sweet person.
She's so nice. And, what she said at the end of, was it the Hulu documentary? I think Tears.
If you could talk to Britney, what would you want her to know? If she's watching this, what would you say?
Okay. And Britt, first off, I would make you giggle. And second off, I want you to remember all the funny things and all the fun times. I want you to remember how strong you are, how talented you are, how silly you are, how goofy you are, and that heart of yours is gigantic, and my goodness, I told you every day how much I loved you. If I had one penny for every fan that's just reached out to me to send their love to you, boy, would I be a rich woman. Hang in there. Your voice is coming back. You are louder and prouder and more powerful than I've seen you in a really long time. And I love you, and I will support you no matter what. And I'm going to cry, because I don't like to cry. It makes my nose big and red. I love you.
It was just such a sweet ending to that. And I think that's also why I like that documentary so much more. She just brings this warmness. And it's that classic Southern hospitality feeling that you get. And I want her to be in Britney's life forever. I think that she truly has her best interests at heart. And, she's just such a light in this world. So.
We all do. She's just an amazing person. It's just the second that you meet her, you can just tell that she's just a good person. I don't have enough good things to say. I could just keep going. She's just so amazing.
Yeah. And especially with Britney kind of going into this new phase of her life, she's absolutely going to need those types of people around her. And who better than Felicia, who has always looked out for her and has never wanted anything from her. So let's lighten the mood a little bit. Like, let's get into our favorite Britney performances. Is that cool? Are you guys down with that? Cody, like, start us off. What's your favorite Britney performance?
I already know right away, and it's the 2003 TRL performance where she was in Times Square. I love that performance, and I had the In the Zone DVD as a kid, which I'm sure a lot of you guys had. It included the ABC special along with the TRL performance and the behind-the-scenes music video of Toxic. But I was obsessed with the TRL performance as a kid because she just was so, you can tell, like, that was Britney in her absolute bag. She was so happy to be there. It was freezing cold. She had this big giant fur coat on that she asked Carson Daly to hold for her right before that's one of my favorite parts of it's not even part of the performance. She's just like, can you hold my jacket? And he's like holding it for her on the side as she's like killing it on stage and the crowd was insane. I mean, Times Square, like everyone was there for like 24 hours camping out to see Britney just in the flesh. So that performance just has so much energy. She performed Me Against the Music and Boom Boom.
Miss Boom Boom. I want Boom Boom to come back on the tour set list. It's just a fun little, like, weird song. But anyway, Brady, what's your favorite performance?
Oh gosh, it's so hard. So a performance that really stands out for me, and this is the story of actually how I got into Britney. It was for like a football pre-show. It was 2003.
With the bob.
With the bob.
Yeah.
And God love my grandma. So my grandma calls me, and at that time I was like kind of like a big Christina Aguilera fan. Mm-hmm. And my grandma calls me and she goes, Brady, Christina Aguilera's on TV. You know, turn to Channel 7, turn to NBC. And so I turn on the TV and I think that it's Britney, but like my grandma just told me it's Christina Aguilera. So I'm just kind of sitting there like really confused. But like all I remember is just like not being able to take my eyes off the TV. I was like, whoever this is, like it changed my life, like honestly. And so I remember after the performance, my sister was in the room and I was like, Stephanie, why was Christina Aguilera performing Slave for You? Like, that's not her song, is it? And she was like, no, Brady, that was Britney Spears. And like ever since that moment, it's just been like, it was literally like an instant, like I just fell in love in that moment. And it's like ever since then, I've just been ride or die Britney.
So that's interesting. He became a fan in 2003. I've been there since the very beginning. OG since I was 5 years old. Baby One More Time.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I have.
You're trying to make me look bad.
There's literally, I wish I had them with me, but they're somewhere in Texas. My mom has them, but I literally have journals that are dated from like, you know, when you're a kid and at school, like that's what you do. You come in and you write in your journal. Every day you have to write something. So many pages are dedicated to Britney. Like I have little pictures of her with like the swirly pigtail. It's like a stick figure, but it's like one of them is like one day I will go to a Britney Spears concert. And I think I spelled her name like BRTNYSPRS. Anyway, it's like, and it's dated like 1999. So
I do have those too. I did find stuff from elementary school days.
I want to find those
where I was talking about how much I love Britney. So, and I'm younger than you, so
by 2 years. So whatever.
I like convinced my parents to like buy me the Britney Barbies when I was really young, and I think one of them was like from the Grammys in I think 2000 when she did Oops, and she had like the weird like 10 soldier guys or something like that. And she started with Bottom of My Broken Heart, I think. Yep. And so I had Britney Barbies. I had the hit clips. I had like folders of all of Britney. And yeah, it was from a very, very early age. Like my stand-up was like high key and like in full effect. And I remember when Kelly Clarkson won American Idol and we were driving to school the next day and my dad was like, guys, like, who do you think won American Idol, the boy or the girl? And I was like, the girl? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, is she better than Britney Spears? And my dad's like, yeah, she's better than Britney Spears. And I go, nobody's better than Britney Spears.
Sorry.
And that's the story. And Brady, for your favorite performance, so that performance, did you know that it was like a pre-Super Bowl show? And because of that performance, it got the NFL banned from the National Mall. Have you heard that?
No.
Yeah.
I've never heard that either.
It was supposed to be a show that was like dedicated to like the troops or something. And it was supposed to be this huge concert. Apparently, they put too much money into it and it was too loud and people complained and they banned the NFL from ever holding an event like that again. So that performance is iconic in its own right.
Seriously.
Because she got them banned from that. So anyway. And I was, of course, saying this because I was vamping because I'm like trying to think quick of like my favorite Britney performance because as Britney fans, I don't think you ever have just one favorite.
I think,
oh my God, I think I'm just going to go with the 2003 AMAs where she did Me Against the Music and she had that like purple plated outfit on and she had the really long ponytail. My favorite one.
I was going to say the stronger AMA performance. After that
one was a good one too.
Yeah, that might be my favorite. Besides the one that made me a stan, because that she just looked like her body. That performance, like
sick.
Oh my God,
it would be really cool. I really hope. I mean, I'm too lazy to do it, but I want some stan to go and find every single televised Britney Spears performance and make a YouTube playlist and just like take hours to like go through every single one of them and just relive it all because that's something that, I don't know, maybe I need to...
That would be a lot of fun.
I'll like ask on Twitter. Maybe one of my followers will do it because I'm really bad with technology actually. So
I would love it. I would actually play that in the background like every day while I work.
Yes.
Just on instant loop.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today. I appreciate it. Let everyone know, where can they follow you on Twitter? What are your handles?
Brady Spears.
And I'm Cody Spears. The S is actually a Z though at the end. So
thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks.
Wow. What a whirlwind. What a conversation that was. If you haven't done so yet, please hit like, subscribe, whatever's closest to you. Did you know that you could watch this on YouTube? If you haven't seen this on YouTube, go to YouTube, type in Spearheaded with Tevin. I'm there. Comment, tweet me what your favorite Britney performance was on Twitter at TevinJC. That's my handle. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.